Hey everyone, what is up? It's Mr. Dimitri back at you again with another Legends ZA video. I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know about trying the Delta recipe for the Delta old-fashioned donut real quick. So let me go ahead and try to help with that. So let's see here. There are certain requirements for it. So the required flavor stats, I believe, are... Sweet has to be at least 120, spicy has to be 40 at least, I want to say. Sour has to be 340, bitter has to be 40, and fresh has to be 390. I want to say these are all at least. And the best result is to get the Hyperspace Berries in that situation. So for the Hyperspace Berries, I've got Hyper Chesto, Hyper Pecha, Hyper Rost, Hyper Asper, Hyper Orin, Hyper Persim, Hyper Lom, Hyper Citrus, Hyper Pomeg, Hyper Kelpsy, Hyper Qualat, Hyper Hondu, Hyper Greppa, Hyper Tomato, Hyper Oka, Hyper Pasho, Hyper Waken, Hyper Rindo, Hyper Yachi, Hyper Chopal, Hyper Kebia, Hyper Shuka, Hyper Koba, Hyper Hayapa, Hyper Tanga, Hyper Chardy, Hyper Kasib, Hyper Haban, Hyper Kolber, finally, I didn't have that for a while, Hyper Babiri, Hyper Chinwan, and Hyper Roselli. So I don't necessarily know if I have enough, but I do know that I want to get that sorted. So let me see what I have here in my inventory. I'm just going to kind of improvise a little bit. This may not be like the official, like what you want to go with, but this is what I did. So let's see, 1 Hyper Hayapa. Well, let's try 2 Hyper Habans, just for the hell of it. And then 2 Hyper Kolbers, which is what we have over here. And then let's try 1 Hyper Babiri. Where is that at? I didn't see. Is it way down there? It is. 1 Hyper Babiri. And then let's try 2 Hyper Roselli, which is also what we have. So as you can see, we have a spicy score of 130, a sour score of 375, a fresh score of 395, a bitter score of 95, and a sweet score of 175, which I believe meets the requirements. So let's go ahead and try to make this donut and see what we got. We'll get started at once. Alright, on shit, let's see what you got. And it worked! We got the Delta Donuts. New donut, Delta Old-Fashioned Donut, Emerald Green Power, Mega Power Conservation, and Move Power Fire. Okay, good to know. So, let's not worry about that one. So that's kind of one recipe that can be followed on that. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And I hope it was helpful. Thank you.